Hello boys and girls, Mr. Giomini. Wanted to come to you with a video for the topic for online assessment. Now the purpose of this video is twofold. One, to help you prepare for the test, and also to help you better understand the content that is on this assessment, to maybe build some confidence in you as you go through this stuff. So let's begin to take a look. Again, these questions are in order. I'm going to do the first 6. I believe there's 11 questions on the topic for online assessment. I'm going to do the first 6 with you today, and then I'll do the others another time. Again, what you can do here is watch the video yourself and either A, go along as I do the problems, but probably the best way to do it would be to view the video after you've answered a question to see if your answer and my answer coincides with each other. Correlates. And if they do, great. If they don't, maybe you're going to find a mistake I make, possibly. Or maybe you'll make a mistake. Let's take a look here. It says drag. There's my verb drag. Drag the tiles to match each equation with its solutions. Tiles may be used once, more than once, or not at all. All right. This is a little labor intensive here. I'm going to have to go ahead and test every single one of these equations by substituting in a value here, or not even substituting a value, but just go ahead and test to see if they are true. Now this one here I could substitute in. Let's see here. This says 7. Well, if I go 7 plus 3, that gives me 10. That won't give me 7 1/8. So I can erase that. That's not going to work. Let's try substituting in 4. Well, what's 4 plus 3? Well, that gives me 7. Plus the 8th gives me 7 1/8. Oh, so this one here must be x is equal to 4. So I can actually substitute some of these in to see if they do make it true. That might be a better way to do this for myself, to kind of be working a little bit more efficiently. Now this one says x divided by 2 equals 4.5. Well, if I put in 7 here, substitute in 7, 7 divided by 2, half of 7 is 3.5. Well, that's not 4.5. I know that this one here we have, substitute in, we have 4 divided by 2. Well, that doesn't give me 4.5, so that's not going to work. What if I substitute in 9? What's 9 divided by 2? Well, 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So, hey, this would be x equals 9. All right, I'm just doing these by substituting in. I kind of like this. Now, let's go to this one. This says x minus 2 1/4. You know what? I'm gonna solve this one. This says x minus 2 1/4. X minus 2 1/4 is equal to 6 3/4. Now, I'm looking at this equation here. We have no x's on the right side, just here. So I'm going to isolate this variable x. I'm going to isolate it by doing the inverse of subtraction, which in this case is addition. So I'm going to add 2 1/4 to both sides, not just one, but to both. Remember the addition property of equality, or all those properties of equality say to whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. This eliminates this. I'm left with x is equal to 3/4 plus 1/4 gives me 1 whole. We have 1 whole, but I'm going to add that to the 6, 7, 8 holes that I have right here. Well, 8 plus 1 gives me 9. Hey, x equals 9. So 9 minus 2 1/4 gives me 6 1/4. So this is also x is equal to 9. Now the last one, it says 3 2/3. 3 2/3. So we have x minus 3 2/3 is equal to 77 hundredths. Now, first thing I notice here, no variables except this x on the left side of the equation. I need to do the inverse of subtracting, which in this case is to add. So whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other side of the equation. That's gone. I'm left with x is equal to, let's see, 7 plus 3 is 10. 7 plus 2 is 9 plus 1 is 10. Hey, that equals 4. X is equal to 4. All right. So we have 4, 9, 9, 4. Now I'm going to go back here and to the actual website, and we had x equals 4. I think we had 4, wasn't it? 9, 9, and 4. The reason I'm doing this, I want to check my answers later on to make sure what I'm doing is right. So let's go to the next one. All right. Let's go to the next one now. Says the Martin's van can hold up to 8 passengers. Now this reminds me of exactly lesson 4.6. It can hold up to 8 passengers. So if I said, hey, passengers is P has to be less than or equal to 8 because the van can't hold more than 8, but it can hold exactly 8. Now it says Deb writes the inequality P is less than 8. Well, mine is different. It says equal to, P is less than or equal to, where P is the number of passengers that can fit in the van. Choose the best explanation for, oh, Deb's error. So we know that Debbie made an error. Well, Deb said Deb should have had P times 8, or 8 times P, because 8 passengers can fit in the van. Well, this is multiplication here. That means I'm multiplying the number of people that can fit in the van and how many van. That doesn't make any sense, so it can't be A. Deb should have switched the inequality symbol to be greater than. So Deb should have said P is greater than 8? Well, it can hold up to 8. It can't hold more than 8, so that doesn't work. Deb should have used the not equal sign to compare the two sides. So Deb should have said P does not equal 8? Well, we don't know how many people. It says then that the van cannot hold 8. Well, yes, it can hold 8. It holds up to 8, so that doesn't work. So Deb should have switched the inequality symbol to include 8 as a possible choice. Yes, she should have said P is less than or equal to 8 because 8 is a possible answer choice. Here, 8 is not an answer choice. It says P has to be less than 8, so that an 8 would not make this inequality true. By putting this equal to, less than or equal to, I substitute an 8. 8 is less than or equal to 8. That is a true statement. S is less than or equal to 8. So Deb should have chosen C here. And now select the correct inequality symbol. It should have been P is less than or equal to 8. So let's take a look at Deb's work here. So we're going to go with C, and then she should have said P is less than or equal to 8 because that includes 8 as the answer choice as well as every number less than 8. All right, let's take a look at the next question. Which graph represents the solutions of the inequality Z is less than? So Z is less than or equal to 7. So because it's less than, the arrow will be pointing to the left of 7. Well, this could possibly be an answer choice. This could be one. This is not because it's going to the right, saying it's greater than 7. 7, same with this. Now here, Z is less than or equal to 7. So a value that would make this true would be 7 because 7 is less than or equal to 7. Now, here you have an open circle. Here you have a closed circle. Here it means that 7 is not a solution or a value that would make this inequality true. Here, because it's a filled-in circle, or we call closed circle, it says that 7 is part of the solution set. So open, not part of the solution set. Closed, part of the solution set. We've already talked about how 7 makes this inequality true. Because it makes it true, it's part of the solution set, which would be B would be the correct answer choice. A says that 7 is not part of the solution set, but anything less than 7. Here, closed circle, yes, 7 is part of the solution set as well as anything less than 7. So when I go back to the website here, it would be B. All right, hit next, go here. All right, now choose all, choose all. Choose all the equations that are true when y is equal to 6. All right, a lot of math to do here. So the first one says 52 and 3700ths minus 46 and 3700ths. Now really, these just cancel out. So really I just have, what is 52 minus 46? Well, that equals 6. So A does work. Because if I substitute A in there, that makes that equation true. This says 4/5 of y, which in this case it's 4/5 of 6. But I'm going to make 6 a fraction. So 4/5 of 6 over y should equal 4 and 4/5. Well, let's simplify, or let's evaluate. Let's simplify this left side of the equation. No cross reduction can be done, so we don't need to multiply. We don't need to find common denominators. We're okay with them being uncommon when we multiply. So we go 4 times 6 is 24. 5 times 1 is 5. That doesn't look like 4 and 4/5 yet, but you know what? They have that as a mixed number. Mine is improper. So how many groups of 5 can I make out of 24? Well, I can make 4 whole groups of 5. Now, if I make 4 whole groups of 5, I've made 20. I've taken 20 away from this 24. Well, I have 4 left over. Hey, look at that. 4 and 4/5 does equal 4 and 4/5. So that will work. Well, this one's not too bad. 6 times 8, that does equal 48. That works. Now, if I substitute in a 6 here, well, 3 plus 6 is 9, but I got the 2/10. That would equal 9 and 2/10. Well, 9 and 2/10 does not equal 9, so this does not work. Well, this says to substitute in 6. Well, 6 divided by 4 will not equal 24. They're trying to trick you here. They're trying to get you to see 6 and 4 are factors of 24, but that doesn't mean 6 divided by 4 equals 24. That would be with multiplication, so this will not work. So the A, B, and C do work. A, B, and C do work, but nothing else will work for that one. All right? Well, we're cruising here. This is great. Now, Nehemiah wrote that 4 plus 4 equals 8. Well, I think we would all agree that 4 plus 4 does indeed equal 8. Then he wrote this. He kept the same 4 plus 4, but then he decided to subtract k from this side of the equation, and he said that's going to be equal to 8, and he subtracted k from this side of the equation. Well, if we subtract k from both sides of the equation, we're using the subtraction property of equality. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, which is subtracting 4 or subtracting k, if I do it to the other side, it still keeps the equation true. I'm subtracting k from both sides. We still have 4 plus 4. We've done it to both sides. So this equation is balanced because he subtracted k from both sides. So if we take a look, the equations are balanced because Nehemiah subtracted k from both sides of the equations. So let's go to the next question, which is the final one I'm going to do right now. We have Menza has $500. Menza has $500 for budget for the school party. So if I want to think about the budget, let me type here. That might make it a little bit neater here. So the budget side. We can spend a total of $500 for this party. We cannot go over 500. All right, now we have the budget and we have what we spent. So we have a budget side of this inequality and we have the spent side. So taking a look here, it says we have a budget of $500. Now she paid $150 for decorations. Now, that is what they spent. Food costs $5.50 per student. Which inequality, let's see here. For some reason it doesn't look like the whole question. Let's see here. Which inequality represents the number of students S that attend the party. For some reason that didn't type out. So we're looking for which inequality shows the number of students that attended the party. Now here's my first thing. I'm thinking that one of the things we spent $150 on decorations. On decorations. Now, that comes out of our budget. So if we subtract the $150 from the $500, we no longer have a $500 budget. We have less. We now have $350. I can spend up to, but not over, $350. So that means my spent side must be less than. It can be less than, but it can be up to, so it can be equal to $350. But now we're spending $5.50 per, and I think about per being multiplied, per student. And in this case, student is S. So that's about $5.50 per, and now I know my S's look like 5, so let's go per student. So we have $5.50 per student times a student must be less than or equal to $150. But that's if we just talked about decorations. Our remaining budget is not $150. It's $350. So this will not work. This says $5.50 per student must be less than or equal to $350. Hey, this seems like it would work because we know we're spending at $5.50 per student must be less than or equal to $300. So that so far seems to be my best answer. This one with the $500 on the right side, my budget is no longer $500. They did not subtract the $150 from that. They did not subtract that. So that does not work. This one added the decorations, the cost of decorations, to the overall budget. When you're spending $150, you don't add that to your budget. You take it away. So the correct answer here would be B. The correct answer here is B. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit review my progress. I'm going to hit submit test. Now notice I haven't done questions 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11. So I'm going to have those marked wrong. But let's see what my answers are so far. It says I have 50%. Look at that. I've answered all the questions correctly so far. So I am ecstatic. So that should help you out preparing for the first half of the assessment. I will come to you later in the week with the second half. Take care.